and welcome to Crochet. Today I want to show you 4 basics on how to get started with crochet. We're just going to be making one of these little swatches so you can practice your stitches and get comfortable with how to hold your yarn before you get started on an actual project. We're going to be starting with the slip knot to get your project started. Number 2, we are going to be working on holding your work. This is going to be making it so much easier to learn how to do other stitches in the future if you know how to hold your work. Number 3, we are going to be working on chaining, and number 4, single crochet. Today I'm just going to be using this light colored blue yarn. It's going to be a lot easier for you if you start with a light color because it's really hard to see your stitches if you work with something dark. So I would recommend using something light to get started. If you don't know what size hook to use, there is a recommendation on the package. You don't always have to use what it says on the package, but if you don't have a pattern right now telling you what hook size to use, and just for the sake of practice, it might just be easier to use what it says on the package. So that's what I'm going to be doing. Let's start with our slip knot. I'm going to be showing you 2 methods on how to do this, so just choose whichever one is easier for you. You're going to take the short end in your left hand and pinch. Then you rotate your hand over. And cross over into an X shape and hold this in place. I'll go ahead and show that again. You take your short end, rotate your hand, cross over into an X shape and hold it in place. Then you're going to grab your hook, go into that top left loop right there, and carefully pull that through. Now I'm going to put my thumb on top of that loop so it doesn't fall off. Flip my hands over and carefully take my fingers out. Okay, and now keep holding on to the short end and this long end here and just tighten up. I'll go ahead and show you that same way again. Rotate over, X shape, grab this left loop right here, pull that through, kind of hold it in place, flip back up, take your fingers out, and pull these tight. Alright, and now I'm going to show you the second method for a slip knot. This is what I do because it's a lot easier to get down quick once you get used to it. So I'll show you slowly. Alright, first you're going to take the short end in your right hand this time. You're going to use your fingers here to sweep up a loop. Okay? So you've got a loop in your left hand and you're holding both the ends in your right hand. Now what you're going to do is take your pointer finger and your thumb and stick them down into that loop. Now you're going to sweep your left hand up towards you and reach over and grab the shorter end. Don't let go of it here, but just pull a loop from it. So I'll show you that again. You have your short end and your long end. Your pointer finger and your thumb go down in there. Turn your hand up and grab this right here. Okay, so if you get some practice at that, you can eventually get it pretty quickly. Now let's move on to holding our work. We'll start with the hook. Alright, first of all, you're going to want to grab kind of towards the middle, but a little bit further up. I'll take my thumb and my middle finger and put them right there. So I'm kind of close to the middle, but I'm a little bit closer to the hook. Now I'm going to take my pointer finger and put it on top of that loop to hold it in place. Okay, so you pinch. You can kind of just place your other fingers down there and pointer finger goes on top. Alright, left hand. This is just the way that I found it was easiest to learn. You start by pointing and put it under your long tail. Now you pinch it closed with your middle finger. Turn your hand up and you use your thumb and your middle finger to grab that knot right there. So you point, go under that long end, pinch that closed, rotate up, and grab your knot right there. Okay, and now we're ready to get started. So the next thing we're going to do is chain. You start by crossing your hook over the yarn like that. So you have this X shape with the hook and the yarn. Now you're going to yarn over, which is just putting the yarn over your hook. And then you're going to pull through this loop. But it's helpful if you turn the point of your hook down towards the knot to get it through a little bit easier. Makes it a little bit easier to get it through there. So make your X, yarn over, kind of rotate your hook down, and pull through. X, yarn over, rotate down, through there. So just get some practice doing those. Make sure they get to a point that they're consistent sizes. You don't want to have some pulled out too big, because I really exaggerated that, but it gets awkward if you pull too much. It's going to be really hard to keep it consistent if your chains aren't consistent. So just try to get to a point that your chains are looking fairly consistent. That one got pulled out a little bit. That's okay. So something like that. Now we are going to move on to single crochet. And if you've kind of dropped your yarn by now, you can just do the same thing as before. Point, grab it right there, and rotate up. And also hold closer to your work now. Don't keep your hand on the knot the whole time. It'll be a lot harder to control, but you can just hold closest to the hook. Okay? So now we are going to single crochet. The first loop you start with is not this one right by the hook. See, there's the one I've got on the hook, and there's the one that it's going through. You don't want that loop. You want to go over to this next one. Most projects are going to tell you to skip that first one, or they'll just assume that you know to skip that first one. They will tell you if you're supposed to do it. Most of the time you skip over it and come to this next one right here. So not there, over here. So you go through that loop. Now you yarn over, just like before. We've got the yarn over our hook. Carefully pull it through. Remember, rotate your hook down to get it through there. And you only pull it through that first one. So now you've got 2 loops on your hook. Now you yarn over again, so you make that X shape, yarn over, and pull through both of them this time. If you kind of need to go one at a time, you can do that. Or if it goes through both at once, then that's perfectly fine. Now our next stitch. You can tell we've already gone through this loop, for one, because it's really big now, and also because this line of yarn right here is pointing directly into that loop. We've already been there. So now we come into this next one right here. Okay, into that. There we go. Got a little stuck. Yarn over, pull through, yarn over, and pull through both. So our next loop, see, we already did this one because it's big, and this little strip of yarn is showing you that we've already been there. So we go into this next one, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through both. So just work your way across this one now. Yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through both, into our next one. Gotta pull some more yarn out. To our next one, yarn over, and through both. One more. Yarn over, pull through both. I will also mention, however many chains you do in the beginning, you are going to end up with one less stitch than that. So if you can count the stitches here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I started with 8 chains, but now I'm down to 7 stitches because we skipped that first loop right by the hook. Just so you know, you're not doing it wrong if you lost a stitch. This is how it should be. Alright, when you get to the end of a round, you always have to chain 1. So cross over, yarn over, and pull through. Now we flip our work over, just kind of flip it over towards your hand. Okay? Then see, I'm still holding with my thumb and my middle finger. Alright, now we're going to look at our stitches from here. They look a little bit different than they did the first time, so I'll show you how to find them. With your stitches now, you are going to be going through, looks like 2 loops. You have these V shapes on top, but that's just a full stitch. See, I just went through the full stitch like that. I've got a full V shape on my hook. So now you yarn over and pull through, just like before. Yarn over, pull through both. Okay? So you look for your next stitch. You're going to stick it through both of these little loops right there. Yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through both. Okay, so you can look for our next stitch. It's this next one right here. Yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through both. So just keep working your way across. It's the same steps. If you can find your stitches, then you can keep crocheting on. Alright, I've got one more here. Sometimes it's a little bit harder to find them on the end, but you can see there is still a V shape there. It's just a little bit awkward, so take your time making sure you're getting through both parts of that stitch. There we go. See, now we've got the full stitch on our hook. Yarn over, pull through, yarn over and through both. Alright, now you can just keep going from here. You do the same step as before. You chain, you turn over, and then you find your stitches. If you're having trouble finding your first stitch on the row, you can just look along the edge of your yarn. Then on top, there's the V shape. It'll kind of look like a bit of a V here where the chain is, but if you turn it to the side, you can see it's sticking out. So that's not the first one. It's this one right here that's lined up with the rest of the stitches. I want to speed up a little bit here. If you need to see single crochet again, you can just go back in the video a little bit. Alright, so you just keep working, and you can do as many rows as you want just to get comfortable until it's looking consistent. Alright, there you have it. Let me know if you had any trouble with this video, if there's anything that I wasn't clear about. I'd be happy to answer any questions. I really hope this was helpful for you, and I hope you have fun on your crochet journey.